Dear students, now we will discuss the Unit 3 of the topic Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. Herein, Mr. Mandela discusses about twin obligations of an individual in life. He also discusses how in South Africa a person who is born of his birth and color finds difficulty to meet twin obligations. Besides, if anybody intends to meet twin obligations, what his position becomes in South Africa. All these valuable things have been discussed in the first paragraph of the topic. As we find, Mr. Mandela says, every human individual has twin obligations. Obligation we mean duty, responsibility or commitment. Individual responsibility and commitment towards the family, parents, children in one hand, and towards society and nation in other. An individual fulfills these twin obligations, twin responsibilities during his lifetime. But in South Africa, if a person intends to live like a human being, he is isolated, he is discriminated. If he intends to come up for his society, for his people, for his country, he is arrested, he is punished, he is inevitably ripped, means unavoidably separated from his family, bound to live a life apart. Mandela calls it a twilight existence in between secrecy and rebellion. Secrecy because he has to sometimes hide himself and sometimes to raise his voice against the injustice, against the authority. Mandela no doubt initially chose to place his family above his people, but in his attempt to serve the people, he failed, or was rather prevented to meet his obligation towards family. In this paragraph, Mr. Mandela describes about his changing attitudes to the concept of freedom, how his attitude to the freedom underwent changes at different stages as he grew up by years. He said, as a child, he didn't have any hunger to be free. He enjoyed freedom every way he could. No. He simply followed the rules set up by his father and obeyed customs of his tribe. He was least concerned with the system apartheid, nor did he have any plan to stand against it. But as he grew up, he learnt the facts. He felt the sufferings of the people of color and decided to stand against it. His childhood freedom appeared to him as an illusion. Illusion because it was false and imaginary. He realized that his freedom had already been snatched away. As a student, he wanted to have freedom for himself. The freedom which was transitory, means temporary by nature. But as a young man at Johannesburg, he wanted to have basic and honorable freedom to realize his dream, to achieve his potentialities, to have family and basic amenities. This urge for freedom earlier was for himself, but later it was not just for himself but for everyone in Johannesburg. Herein, Mandela explains how his hunger for self-freedom became a greater hunger, how he was animated with the fire of freedom, and how he became a changed man and uncompromising freedom fighter. You know, Nelson Mandela comes to realize that he was not alone, but all the people of color were deprived of the basic rights and amenities. At that time, his hunger for freedom became greater and stronger one. He joined the National Congress of Africa and fought a selfless fight for the freedom of his people. This spirit of selfless love for the cause of his people and nation transferred him from a frightened young man to a brave freedom fighter. It changed him from a law-abiding person to the one breaking the law, from a family man to a man without home, and from a life-loving man to a monk. He was sure of the fact that one couldn't be able to enjoy the limited freedom allowed to him until his people were not free. In his opinion, freedom is indivisible. It means it can't be divided. As chains on one were the chains on all, so also deprival of freedom to some means deprival of freedom to all, including the author himself. Dear students, like Mandela's long walk to freedom, we have also come to the fag end of the topic. We have made a long way journey. Now finally, the final paragraph of the topic. Herein Mandela presents a bigger truth, a bigger and wider implication of the term freedom. He says both the oppressor and the oppressed must be liberated. They both must be freed. If the oppressed are deprived of their basic rights, the oppressors are also deprived of their humanity. If the oppressed are imprisoned, tortured, and tormented, the oppressors are also imprisoned by their biasness and narrow-mindedness. He argues, how can one truly enjoy freedom if he takes another person's freedom? Rather, he becomes the prisoner of hatred and carries the curses of the family of the person he has tormented. Thus, by snatching away someone's freedom, he himself loses his freedom. By torturing others, he tortures himself. With this, the chapter comes to a close. Thank you.